Om. 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 Sai Ram. Just to recollect what we discussed last week before we close the session. Now, we were discussing about the impact of praise and blame, how we should not be affected by them. And I thought we had a very detailed discussion, and I think it didn't. I think that it was still going on by the time we closed. So maybe we will again continue from where we left off, sisters. And I think the second paragraph also, I think, was not discussed. So please proceed from where we left off. Thank you very much.
Sairam, seeking praise and blaming others are impulses. The world is a nest of crows. Some call in praise, some call in derision. But you should be above the reach of praise and blame. Make light of praise, treat it as something spat out by others. Then only can you be free and enjoy real happiness. About blame, see how the world has not allowed even Rama, Krishna, Vishnu, Shiva, and Sai Baba to escape from the tendency to blame. People talk ill even of the gods, imputing to those perfect beings evil motives and actions. From foul-minded people such as these, can any consideration be expected towards mere man? Any excuse is enough for them. The white hates the black hates the white. The Shaivite scandalizes the Vaishnavite, and the Vaishnavite spreads stories about the Shaivites. Everyone loves their own religion, their own native place, and themselves. One loves one's own methods of worship and form and ceremonies. This love takes the form of praise of one's own creed and blame of the other faith. Though all this is related to one's relationship with God, such impulses are and must be classed and impure malina impulses. Under impure malina impulses.
Thank you very much, sister. So I think we were discussing anyway in the middle of the discussions last week. So I'm not going to say anything. I will just ask everyone to share their thoughts, please. Anyone wishing to share any thoughts, please go ahead.
Sairam.
Sairam, auntie.
Yeah. Actually, when people praise, the people who are praising us, they get happiness. But people, when they criticize, the people who criticize also, they get happiness thinking that, oh, I criticize this person. So I think we are giving happiness to the people who criticize and who praise. That's what I think.
Thank you very much, sister. Auntie, thank you very much, auntie. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
So, Sairam, brother, if the person criticizes, his main intention to hurt the other person. If the other person hurt because of the criticizing mean, that means that the person who did it maybe going to be happy. So you have to analyze first. You should not take it very serious, because then you will go back whatever Swami said as a registered letter. If you don't accept that one, you'll go back to the person. You will go back to him 10 times, paying the person who created. So that's what Swami says. If the person not harming anybody, talk softly, he should always engage himself in good action, should do the duties and surrender himself and heart and soul to the Swami. He should not afraid to anything. I don't understand in that if we take our office, if the president means we give respect. Here in spiritual organization, everyone talk. Even they don't know the subjects, they talk because they have freedom. They can talk anything and never think about what is my spiritual level? What is the purpose of coming over here? What is 10 years before and 5 years before my spirit? That is the goal they have to think about, everyone. I don't understand why they don't think about that one. They never allow the person to do the job. So everyone think they know everything. If the position is there, let the person holding the position do the work, not to criticize, not to trouble, make the job has to be done perfectly. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother, Sairam. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Sarah? I saw some other lot of devotees in Sai Center. Those people they previously criticized Swami. And I really felt bad because I thought, oh, we criticize Swami, look at you very much. Oh my God, he didn't understand me, and he understand, make them understand and bring them in the fold. That's what when the people criticize Swami, I said, don't do that because you become a Sai Center again with us too. And say, how come? I said, you criticize Swami, look at you. Oh my God, this is criticism. I want to explain about my divinity and everything. They bring you his in under his fold. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, brother. Sister Ananta, you were about to say something.
Sairam, when Brother Tarsan indicated about the criticism, I thought myself whether the constructive criticism, the criticism can be divided into two different ways, but the one type they say constructive criticism is always considered to be important in order to straighten down something. Say for an example, if something happens, everybody they keep on silence and nothing say, and at the end, we may say that, no one said about this one, that's why it has happened. That's why I also think seeking praise, that completely agree. They're seeking praise, but maybe the criticism, if it is a constructive way, in a good way, and very respectfully, in the worldly parlance or the spiritual parlance, sometimes respectfully we can criticize. If something wrong, we have to come and openly tell something. That if that should straighten the path, we have to have that sort of even though some people they may say bad, but if that can straighten the path, someone has to come forward to tell that truth. I thought in that way, the criticism also sometimes it's important, but it should be done in a very respectful manner. Even the other person, tell that very respectfully. That's why even in the worldly life, some of the places I have seen, very respectfully, they would say, I disagree, very respectfully. That sort of open mind should be for all of us. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, sister. So anyone, I think we have exhaustively covered praise and blame. Maybe the next section, I think we could discuss the second paragraph. Swami says everyone loves their own religion, their own native place, and themselves. This love takes the form of praise of one's own creed and blame of the others. So again, Swami is using the word praise and blame in terms of our faith, things which we love, and so on. So Swami is saying, though all this is related to one's relationship with God, such impulses are and must be classed under impure impulses. So I thought we can just discuss that a bit.
So, Sarah, brother, so the people blame other religion is good and everything. They are in the surface. They don't understand the meaning of the religion and the spiritual. If you are in the surface, it's called religion. When you go deep into that one, it's called spiritual. You have to get the pearl, whatever religion it is. All the religions are talking about good. Why you want to spread your religion? Why you want to make the other people to come, encourage the other people? So when you understand the spiritual, you go deep into that one, get the pearl. And that is my answer too.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to?
Saira, all the religions are saying the good things. I mean that there's no religion saying that to go and criticize or hurt other people. No, that every religions are saying good things. But I don't know why that people criticizing the other religion or that because we don't have that enough knowledge from the other religions. That's why we are talking bad about the other religions. If we have enough knowledge from the other religion, we don't talk bad about that. First of all, we have to know about other religions. Then we can talk. Otherwise, we don't have no right to talk into that. Swami says all religions are mine. So there's no different. That my understand that that God is an ocean, that religions are the rivers, that they are the path to the road, the path to the God. So there is no difference between any religions have them in them. That's my understanding. Thank you, Saira.
Saira, brother. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Sairam, brother.
Yes.
This is something very nice to see. We are saying about the blaming of other faith, right? But here we have to understand the people who don't follow that we shouldn't blame within us, within our group, they are the people will look at others and do that. So we should practice, we shouldn't blame anybody. That kind of understanding we have to develop within us, then that will automatically take away the blaming other people's faith. So then when there are criticism or anything in the first paragraph, your intention is supposed to be pure. And every word that you utter, as Swami said in Dhyana Vahini, you have to make sure it's dharma. So these are the things we have to keep in mind. First, we have to practice. When we practice, it's automatically, it will take away those tendencies from us. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else would like to?
Sairam, one time Kanchi Sankaracharya, he said, the people are talking about the converting people to Christianity from Hindus. He said, the people they don't understand the vastness of the Jesus Christ. They think we are out of Jesus Christ, so they are taking in us to in Jesus. We are all in Jesus Christ. They don't understand the vastness of Him. So the critic he overcome in that way. This is very nice because they explain them what they are doing the way and very faulty things. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother.
Hi, Ram. I hope it's not disrespectful or anything. I just wanted to understand this issue very clearly. But so where Swami saying in praise of one's own creed and blame of the other's faith. So saying that we should not praise our own faith or blame the faith of others. So in that Uncle Dawson gave yesterday, where somebody at some private home, there was a bhajan, and then afterward, like a holy man came to speak, and he removed the picture of Swami and put the picture of his own God or guru. But I guess, at the same time, maybe for that man, in order to develop the appropriate bhakti or talk about what he wanted to talk, he needs a picture of his own God or guru. So is it right for us to kind of criticize him? Like if that private home is okay with that and that guru or that person, I mean, if everyone is okay with that, then that's fine. But of course, if it doesn't settle right with us as Sai devotees, I mean, we can choose not to go there or just not think about it. But should we take that step even in our minds of criticizing that person?
Good question, Kalyani. Good question. I think clarity in these topics is very good. For our own, I think, so that we ourselves are clear. So I'll open it up for others to comment. I think what Sister Kalyani is saying is, when we see something, as Brother Dasan mentioned yesterday, what should be our attitude towards that?
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Sister
Yes.
Narmada, and I will go after that one.
Yes, I have. So I've been thinking about this, and I don't know the situation yesterday because I didn't participate. But from what I understand from Swami's teachings, and Swami always said, know your religion well, and then respect the other religion. And then Swami's quote about, I am I. So I think if we understand our own religion more and more, and I think that respect for other religions will come to it, having an open mind. And also, if someone, it's my personal opinion, if someone is removing the picture of Swami or criticizes Swami, just take it with, thinking that they don't know, they haven't seen that yet better, or they don't know Swami better, or they don't know your religion better. So, and I think, and if you have that understanding, then it won't hurt you because you believe in yourself more. And it's just a personal, my personal experience. I may have shared this with someone before. When I married, my husband was not a Swami's believer. So he did not like me keeping Swami's picture in our shrine room, because he's a strong Hindu, and he said, Swami is a guru, so he didn't want, gurus to be, Yoga Swami. In that sense, it should be there, not like, Shiva and Parvati is like ultimate gods or here. So I didn't argue or anything, so I just decided to remove Swami's picture, because for me, Swami lives in my heart. So Swami is everywhere. So Swami will be there. So I just prayed to Swami and said, he doesn't know yet. He believes in God, but he doesn't believe in Swami yet. He just didn't get to know Swami. So I prayed and said, Swami, just give him that knowledge when you think is the right time. After 3 or 4 years, so I didn't have Swami's picture anywhere. I just told Swami, when it's the right time, you bring it, because I see Swami in my parents' house or everywhere else, so that's fine. About 3-4 years after, when my sister was going to they go to Puttaparthi every year. One day he's just said, I don't know what, Swami must have said something to him or did something. He said, when we moved to a new house, he said, why don't you ask your sister to buy Swami's picture, bigger picture? And then eventually he's like, he just got into Swami's politics. He never stopped me from going to bhajans and things like that. He just didn't believe in that. Now, Swami's picture is the main picture in our shrine group. Swami just made, like, when the right time came, things falls into place. So I think if we believe in ourselves and we are strong in our faith and whatever, others criticizing should not affect us, and just pray to God, say, asking when it's the right time, things will fall in place. This is just my view. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, sister. Sister Ananthi, you want to talk?
Sairam, I also last night I thought about Brother Dasan indicated about that I thought myself, maybe I am praying Swami and with the picture and everything. Maybe the Brother Dasan may clarify. You indicated that some other guru came in for that, maybe discourses, and maybe from that after certain number of discourses, maybe they have taken out Swami's picture and put that guru's picture in that study circle or in the bhajan. Is that Brother Dasan, the incident?
No, I'm just going to clarify what's going on. First, they had a small group. I'm not participate on that one. I normally go and see one of my friends there. So I know they always have satsang with the Bhagawan picture, and they were praying as a guru, and this person teach the what do you call, all the philosophy and everything. Suddenly, he removed that Bhagavan picture. So you cannot change the guru. When you all believe in one guru, it's like it's like we are going to Brother Arno's home. We are having the satsang, and he's believing my guru is Bhagavan. Suddenly he removed his picture. Okay, I am the guru now. He don't believe that one. Even I heard, then after that one day I went there. Then on the way I said Sai Ram. Then he said, look at these fellows, still they are saying Sai Ram, even he's died. So how we can accept that person as a guru and the followers? So I found out that it didn't last for a long time. It'll break. So that is a thing I was trying to elaborate. You're supposed to have understanding the spiritual before making a guru. You cannot change the guru. Thank you, Sai Ram.
I absolutely agree with Brother Dasan. Say for an example, my mother is my mother. It doesn't matter. Other maybe the very knowledgeable, very wisdom mother came into my house. That wouldn't replace my mother at all. That's why even I would say as a guru, the other, the maybe knowledgeable or the wisdom guru, he or she came into that the group of people and making the satsang or something. If he or she is the real guru, that guru wouldn't say at all, you remove your previous guru or your previous mother. From that moment onwards, maybe if I am a Sishya or I would have realized that something wrong somewhere, because if there is no picture, then maybe a new person picture would have come. If there is a picture and all devotees believe that that's their mother or God, then remove that one and bring another one. It's absolutely it says that guru is not at all a real guru, as Swami's the definition or something. That's what I wanted to. Last night I thought about that one. I absolutely agree. And I have seen some incident too, similar incident. That's why it clicked into my mind there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else would like to?
Sai Ram, I agree with that, Sister Anandi said that Swami said that a lot of false gurus in that world, no, that we have to identify which one is the right one. Say that Dasan mentioned that guru is the false one, like Swami mentioned. That's why he changed that Swami's picture time to time, that he's taking the other, that's why Swami says that you must, that one-pointedness always must have that you must get that liberation. So you cannot change time to time that gurus or pictures or images. You have to be in one place. That's I can say that. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, brother. Anyone else?
Hi, Ram. I want to thank Sister Narmata for sharing her personal experience. I'm going through that same situation. My husband does not believe in Sathya Sai Baba and makes lots of negative remarks, which is very discouraging and very depressing. But thank you, Sister Narmata, for sharing your experience, and that it can take few years actually. So I learned today that you just be patient and keep your own faith steadfast. Don't waste your time and energy trying to convince or change others. As long as you're convinced of your own choice and you follow the right path, things will fall into place. So thank you for that insight. Sairam.
Sairam, sister Sairam. Anyone else has something to say?
Sairam, I'll tell you some more incident. Back home in Sri Lanka, those days, maybe then 1980, 1970 kind of things. One of our sisters, jokes and she used to go, she lives close to our house. She told me the Muslim girl from in Sri Lanka, she handed Swami's picture to her. She's scared to keep Swami's picture at home. The father is shouting with her. So she said, give to her. But that time she is not a Swami devotee. I said, this is a real God came in the form. You keep it and worship him, because we can't keep a picture of Guru or anything as a picture. Now home is very dangerous. My father shouting a lot of time. So I give it to you, keep it. From that day, she became a Swami devotee. See, the Muslim girl, maybe she kept Swami in the heart. And she gives an opportunity to other people to learn. And I don't know, Swami take that moment to turn the table, go to her house and start the mission in from her too. So there are situations happen sometime for the benefit for other people also. It's happened like that. I guess. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. So any other thoughts? Okay, I guess. Maybe I will just answer. I will try. I think sister, I don't know, Sister Kalyani's question was she's satisfied with the discussion. Maybe I will share some thoughts which came to me. I think her question was, can we criticize? I think that was her question. You know, if that is their belief, should we criticize? I think in life we have three situations. I think that's my understanding. See, one thing is we love a certain form of prayer, and then we love it, and we want to follow it, and that will mean that we are fully dedicated in it. So I think that there should not be any question about that itself. Our firm faith in what we are following, that should not be affected in the least by anything. And the second thing is somebody else is following another path. So then how do we deal with that is the second question. Do we think, okay, that's also same as me, and then we also dabble in that? Okay, so that's also another tendency people have. I am following this, they are also following, that is also good, this is also good, let me try it out also. Okay. So I think that sometimes goes against what's called ekagrata, which Brother Rajagopal said. If you have taken something, you stick to it. And then there's a tendency that we can even blame that or find fault with that form of worship and want to convince ourselves that what we are following is right. So because of that, what we do is we just to reinforce our own belief, we try to think ours is superior to the other person's. Okay, and I think that is where things get really bad, because then we love what we are doing and we sort of blame or find fault with what other person is following. And I think that is what Swami is telling, that we should not fall prey to. Okay, just to reinforce our own faith, we should not think ours is superior, something else is inferior. And that is where the praise and blame comes. It's like, if you love your mother, the neighbor loves their mother. We don't need to say, my mother is better than you. If we want to love your mother, you love. There's no need for comparison. Okay, it's an independent activity, but sometimes it can turn into a comparative comparison. And Swami, I think that's what Swami is warning us not to do, so that we should not compare. Just follow yours. Don't even think about the other person's faith and try to find whether mine is good. Sometimes that is another problem. Is my faith right? Am I practicing right? Is there something lacking? Should I improve it? So those are also questions people ask, which basically distracts us from our own goal, what our Guru is teaching or our Lord is teaching. So I think that's very important. So no comparison, follow our path. Then I think I would come to the last one, which is criticism of something which is really wrong. When somebody is doing something wrong, I think all of us know that it is wrong. Okay, I think at such points in time, including somebody blaming what we are doing, I think it's okay to criticize. I think it's okay to say, call it out and say it is wrong. And that is necessary, because even if we are not affected, if others are going to be affected, I think when if somebody is stealing, somebody is hitting somebody, do you think, that is his dharma and you keep quiet? We will not. If somebody is hurting somebody, that has to be put a stop to. So the thing is, discrimination is to know in which situation we are and what action I think we have to take. What Swami is speaking here is, let our own love get degraded into praising others and blaming others. I think that's what Swami is just warning us. That's my understanding. I thought I would just share those thoughts. I will stop here, and if anyone has something to say, compliment, please go ahead. Saira.
Sairam, we all love our Swami. We all love Swami, and if someone criticizes Swami, we get annoyed. That is everybody's side devotee's natural reaction. But sometimes you can't go and fight with them. Arun, do you think that by some criticize Swami and then they unnecessarily interfere in our this thing, and we should talk to them and then try to convince them? Is it right? No, you cannot do that. If somebody criticizes Swami, then we have our firm faith in Swami. We continue. But at the same time, our love for Swami should not go to that extent of blaming others. That's what Swami is saying. Our love should not take the form of blaming others' faith, and keep an open heart, keep an open mind to receive everyone. And then we can keep quiet at that time. We don't have to blame or praise others. That's what I feel. Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone has anything to add?
Sairam, I think there's, regarding criticize someone who is wrong is that again, it depends. It's not what I try to say is you can't say same no, a blanket rule or same thing for everyone. Might be do it in a different way. So it's because one thing, if you are so sure that someone is wrong, and then again, it depends on so many other factors, whether we should criticize, as Anandi said, whether it will be a constructive criticism, larger, in a larger scale, people will be benefit because of that. And also we should be very careful, even if the other person is wrong, we might take it as we shouldn't, even without our conscious this thing, we might take it as an opportunity to criticize, to go beyond a limit, and that to satisfy our ego, and then those things that will affect our spiritual progress. So what I'm saying is it's so difficult issue. It depends on the individual too. Yeah. And beside here, regarding Saivites and Vaishnavites, Swami mentioned that is a centuries old issue. It's centuries back, it was a real issue, and now it's not that this thing, but it's so intertwined in the Puranas and all that. So to prove the Vishnu's superiority, the Vishnu Puranas, they try to say things to degrade Shiva and the vice versa and all that. But maybe I take it as that also as an evolution. So now Swami wants his devotees to go beyond all that. And Aravind Balasubramanian, in one of the clip in the radio Sai, was saying that Swami, if he goes to a place where the audience are Vaishnavites and they will never ever say the name of Shiva, after his talk or after he sing bhajan, or he will sing in an audience where strong Vaishnava is there, he will sing a Shiva bhajan, and at the end they will also join, and vice versa. So obviously Swami wants his devotees to go to evolve beyond all those these things. So for that, in the Bhakti tradition, these things are there, but I think I take it as a evolving this in the current situation. We don't have to succumb to these things, especially with Swami's guidance. Saira.
Saira, I just want to add something here. Now, yes, there are so many things, so many incidents happens. Swami in few places, he says to ignore it. Some places he asking us to keep quiet. But when it comes to Swami's teaching, the right conduct, we have to stand for the right thing. That is the main thing Swami's teaching is. So based on that, as we are standing for the right thing, we have to make sure our intention is pure, and there's no partiality, there is no ego, your like and dislike. Beyond that, you have to think, you have to connect with Swami and see what is right and wrong. So based on that, for any criticism, it's coming from your pure heart and with a good intention. I think that will make a difference. Just I wanted to add to that. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Any other thoughts, please?
Hi, Ram. Oh,
Sairam, Sister Vasudha, please go ahead.
sorry. Sometimes I wonder if this happens because we get confused between religion and spirituality. to me, spirituality means a broader concept of connecting oneself with the divine. And religion is like, or semi-religions or whatever, the sects and different kind of pathways that are there. People get so caught in the religious aspect that they forget that whether it's Lord Vishnu or Lord Shiva, ultimately there's the one formless divine. But we tend to make it, give it a form of Vishnu or a form of Shiva or Buddha or whatever the form is, to make it easy for ourselves to make that connection with God. But that's what I think, that people get caught in the religious aspects and forget the broader concept of spirituality. For me too, it's always an internal struggle as to where to go beyond the form and pursue the ultimate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sister. Any other thoughts, please?
Saira, if somebody criticizes individually to myself, I listen to that and I see what is going on there. That if I have any mistakes, if I have any wrongdoing, I try to correct myself. Otherwise, if they say something wrong about me, I don't worry about it, because there's this is I agree with that. This is passing cloud. I don't worry about it. They are taking my bad karma from us. That I can think that they take my bad karma from me. That saying these things. So another thing is that if somebody criticizes Swami, I don't worry about it, because this is actually hurt me in my heart. But I can't do nothing for that, because Swami says that leave it to me. You know, that Swami is that he's God. He knows everything. That we don't worry about it. And Swami says that in the picture, I am not in the picture. No, that that devotee has the faith. Only that the picture is come to that God. Otherwise, it's like a picture. No, we don't worry about that. We don't. That picture is picture. That's the life comes to that when the God, that the devotee is giving that important, and that his faith and bhakti, and that then only that picture is a life that I can say that leave to God and leave his protection for everything. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. So
Sairam,
yes, Santi.
I have a question. I heard Vasudha saying we have to go beyond form. I have a question regarding this. I have been carrying this question in my mind for long. Shouldn't you go doing meditation, and after that only you can go beyond the form of your guru? Is that is the one that I have learned? I don't know. Just help me out.
Okay, thank you, Auntie. So Auntie has posed a question about what's the form and what is formless. I think that's something which we can discuss briefly, at least. I think before I had to answer this question, I was reminded of a story which Swami narrated in Life of Ramakrishna. Just to, so apparently Ramakrishna had many disciples. I think many of you may know this story also. So he had many disciples, and they used to take turns to go to the market every day to buy the provisions for cooking in the ashram. And every day different people go. So there was one disciple, and Ramakrishna was slandered by everyone in that village where he lived. And one day there was one disciple called Rakal. He went to they had to take a boat. They had to cross the river. So they had to take a boat and go to the other side. So he got into the boat, and the boat was going, and there were lots of villages. Some of them were bit rough and hooligans, and they started slandering Ramakrishna. And they knew that this boy was also part of that ashram, so they were teasing him and calling him all names, calling Ramakrishna all names. He was quite upset by that. He just sat quietly and almost crying. And he went to the market, he bought whatever he could. He was coming back again. The same people were returning in the same boat, and they did the same thing. He was so depressed. He kept quiet and he came. And when he came to the ashram, Ramakrishna asked, how was the day today? And he didn't have even the ability to smile or talk about it because he was so sad, he sobbed and cried. So Ramakrishna asked him what happened. So he told this whole story. I was going in the boat and all these fellows were talking and I didn't know what to do. Then apparently Ramakrishna scolded him. He said, you were going there and they were talking badly of me. And then you just sat there. You call yourself my disciple. And he took him to task. So Vivekananda was listening to all this exchange. So the next day was his turn. So he went, this is a story Swami, I think, told a few times. So he gets into the boat and the boat goes. And again, the same fellow started talking. He just got up, pulled each one and punched them nicely, screamed at them. A couple of them he threw over the boat, into the waters. I said, don't mess with me and don't talk ill of my guru like this. Everyone apparently quietened down. He went to the market, he got all the provisions and he came back. And when he came back, Ramakrishna asked us, so how was your day today? He said, oh, Guruji, again, these fellows tried a stunt and I have taught them all a lesson. Then Ramakrishna again scolded Vivekananda. He said, you call yourself my disciple and you're behaving like this? And he scolded him for that. Then Vivekananda couldn't understand. Yesterday he was holding the other fellow for not saying anything. Today he's scolding me. His teaching is all contradictory. He doesn't know what he wants us to do. Okay, then Vivekananda, Ramakrishna tells, look here, if there's no air, we have to pump air into the tires. If it is too much air, you have to release a bit, release the pressure. It's a medium ground is what is needed. Okay, we should know what situation calls for what and what we should do, how we should do. And there's another story of the same Ramakrishna talked about another story about the snake. I think we have discussed this. You don't bite, but you can hiss. So the thing is, it's all about balance ultimately. So I thought I will touch that. So I think each one of us have to decide whether there's a place to talk or not. Because when Draupadi was being disrobed and she pleaded with Bhishma and asked him, is this dharma? And what Bhishma told that there was, Draupadi, dharma is very intricate, it's not very easy to understand. And he kept quiet. Okay, so is that right? Maybe he thought I should not be egoistic and think that this is wrong. So he kept quiet. So sometimes these are the things I think we should know each person has to decide for themselves, and I think do. So I will stop there. And I think I will address Auntie Sakku's questions. This form to formless is something which everyone talks about. So I think I will give the example of Ramakrishna. So this also again another story which Swami has told. Ramakrishna had a guru called Totapuri. So Ramakrishna was praying to Kali. He was doing prayers to the Kali, form of Kali regularly. And the guru was also telling him to meditate on Kali. So apparently he was meditating. And Totapuri told, don't go beyond the form. Okay. So this was his instruction. because you are meditating on Kali, but go beyond the form. Ramakrishna couldn't understand. So does it mean removing the form of Kali and meditating? Should he stop meditating on Kali? Those were questions. So apparently he told, apparently he gave him an experience. So apparently he's supposed to have broken a bottle and pushed it into his forehead and said, concentrate on this. And apparently he had, he was able to liberate himself from the form of Kali. Okay, many people say this and say, so from that day, maybe Ramakrishna didn't need Kali, the form of Kali. But many people forget that after that, actually, that experience, Ramakrishna was able to see Kali physically every day. Every day he was able to talk to her. So I think what people do not understand sometimes is form to formless is we treat the form as a picture. See, we go and pray in front of a picture and we think Swami is in the picture. But that forming does not become alive. Going beyond the form means seeing that is within that form and be able to tap into that source. So sometimes people think going formless means, okay, don't keep picture, now you imagine Swami. It's impossible. Because what he says is you have to go beyond the form, external form, and see the essence. But once you have that experience, that form will be standing in front of you every day and talking to you, which is what happened to Ramakrishna. Like when he was a realized saint, when Vivekananda came, he told Vivekananda, I'm conversing with Kali just the way I'm conversing with you. But Ramakrishna had reached the goal of going beyond the form. Okay, so sometimes people, when they're going beyond the form, means they think the form should not be there. You should not even have it. It is not. You should be able to see through that. What is beyond form is, for example, if you want to see a flower you see. But what is beyond the form of flower is the fragrance. The fragrance, if you don't see you cannot smell the fragrance, looking at the flower is of no use. So I will say, see the fragrance for that the flower is needed. But if you're not focusing on the fragrance, having the flower is of no use. So having the form and being able to taste the formless through that is what Swami has talked about so much, but unfortunately people just sometimes take one line or 2-3 words and then imagine whatever they want to. Swami has actually covered this very deeply. I hope Sakwanti, I don't know whether it's a bit slightly off the topic, I guess, but I think we're talking about form meditation. That's why I wanted to mention that, because I think 3-4 paragraphs before this, Swami talks about Sakshatkara. I think 5 or 6 paragraphs before, if people can go back and read, Swami is saying ultimate goal of meditation is Sakshatkara, which is what a person like Ramakrishna experienced, or he reached that state. That state goes what is called going beyond the form, beyond the external plastic form or a paper picture. I think that's what Swami is trying to push us towards. So I thought I will just mention, and Sakwanti had this question. So it's related to the topic. I think we discussed this briefly a few weeks ago, but maybe not in such detail. Auntie, I hope that touches the question you had.
Thank you very much. No, thank you.
Sai Rama.
Sai
So I
Rama.
think we can move on, Sister Kalyani. I think otherwise we'll just stay here, Sai Rama.
Such mean attitudes, saturated with ignorance, have to be removed by repetition of the name and meditation that fill the heart with broad and universal Atmic wisdom. Then the limited impulses will be transformed and transmuted into holy impulses and will vanish. It is indeed a wonder why people fail to put forth all effort to remove the impure impulses. For by following their path and get only pain, sorrow, and agony. The deluding effect of these instincts and impulses make them believe and feel that They are on the correct path towards the goal of happiness. That is why they are reluctant to give them up. That explains why they hold on to them so fast. If they read some good books about the Supreme Atma, the brain could be brightened. They could at least grasp the essence of scriptures, sastras.
Thank you very much, sister. So I think Swami is again explaining to us how we reach the state of removing the impulses, limited impulses, or the improper impulses. And he's also giving us a clue as to how we can even find out if and when we have reached that state. So I will leave with those thoughts. I will open it up for discussion. Anyone can share what do you think, Saira?
Just to clarify, so the clue is that the pain and sorrow and agony. So if we're still experiencing that, then we haven't yet removed.
Exactly, sister. The symptoms of any disease is seen by this, can be diagnosed by studying the symptoms. I think, in a COVID time, we know, when somebody comes, they will say, look at the temperature or something like that. That's a clue. The person is sick, needs treatment. So when somebody is talking or, you look at somebody, if they are in pain, then there's a problem with them. Something is afflicting them. So I think that's all. So I think each one of us can diagnose for ourselves, and we also should be able to diagnose others also. Or, whoever we think we need to, that's whether they're healthy or not, you will know. And I think that's why Swami is giving us this lesson.
Like Swami has also talked about how Ramakrishna went through unbearable agony for many years before he I guess attained enlightenment. So isn't agony also part of the spiritual process too?
Very, very good question, sister. Very good question. So I think I will open it up. So I think Swami has said Ramakrishna went through agony so much until he found the mother. So isn't pain, sorrow, and agony part of that journey? It's a question sister is asking. I think it's a very good question. I will again open it up for that. I think in the meantime, there were a couple of comments. I think I think Brother Ranga has said, Swami says, stay away from bad company and cultivate good company. And I think Brother Vimalesan said, everyone has to decide for that oneself. Okay, there were two comments. So, so I think Sister Kalyani's question is a very good one. If we have feeling pain and agony, does it mean that it's a good sign? Because just like Ramakrishna went through agony, maybe we are also going through agony. So can we think that we are in the path of progress like Ramakrishna? I think that's the question. Am I right, sister? More or less, I rephrased
yes,
it.
so it's confusing because the symptoms are the same.
Exactly. Symptom. Very good. So I will open it up for discussion. Anyone can share your thoughts, please.
Sai Ram, any spiritual endeavor, we will come across difficulties, challenges. We have to overcome. We have to continue practicing steadfastly, have firm faith. I think the best example would be when Devas and Asuras churned the ocean. They first got hala poison. Then after that only they got, at the end only they got Amrita. So I guess difficulties is part of the progress. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, brother.
So thank
Anyone
you,
else?
Sairam brother. If you get agony and pain only, that's the time you think about God. If you have everything, most of the people never going to think about God. Why you have to think about God? I have got everything. So when the problems arise only, most of the people go to the God's feet and pray, please, I want to come out. The person knows spiritual, he knows this is my vasana. This will nothing, this is for my body. So he will continue his spiritual sadhana. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Sairam, no, here Swami, in this paragraph, he says that because of the failure to remove impure impulses, people go through sorrow, pain, and agony. And I think that is something different, but still, but that's why he later says if they read some good books about the Supreme Atma, it will be brightened up. So that is different, but usually in a normal, usually for spiritual progress, that is always said that people we learn from pain, sorrow, and suffering, and we never learn from pleasure, happiness, and those things. So pain and agony but what agony Ramakrishna went through, I guess I'm not too, no, I didn't read a lot about him, but from what I know, his agony was that every day he's passing without he seeing Kali or he's realizing his spiritual. That kind of agony definitely will help for progress, spiritual side.
Thank you very much, brothers. Thank you.
Sairam.
Yes, Auntie.
If the pain, sorrow, and agony is for the sake of the Lord to enlighten ourselves, or if it is on the spiritual path, if we suffer like that, that's fine. Ramakrishna did go through all the pain and sorrow, agony, just to find out where Kali is, just to find out his own Ishtadevata. But if it is because of impure impulses, Swami is saying, impure impulses are there, Marina Vasanas are there, and we are going to pain, suffering, agony, that will not help us. That will not help us to find out our goal. And there are two different things. Pain and sorrow, agony, to find out if you are going through the spiritual path, just like Ramakrishna, that's fine. But if you are unnecessarily suffering pain and sorrow and agony because of our Malina Vasanas, and still we have not learned the lesson, why we should not avoid these impure impulses, we have not understood that. And we go through it, and we are happy, and we think that we are following the correct path. That Swami is saying. Sairam.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you very much.
I think what Auntie is saying is right. This is Saku Auntie.
Yes, Auntie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, brother. I also wants to clarify that, because before we learned, there shouldn't be any agony, and when we do the right thing, we shouldn't feel all those things, right? But here on a spiritual path is okay. But if you are doing the right thing and you're doing in a good intention, those things shouldn't come to you, the pain or sorrow again. So that's we studied in I think 2 or 3 chapters before. Thank you, Saira.
Yes, sister. Thank you. Okay, I think if there's no other thoughts, I think it's nice, exhausted. I think Kalyani, you're okay, I guess. No, I think.
Just to clarify one thing,
Yes.
so we may sometimes think that we are suffering agony because we are on the spiritual path, or because we're for the Lord, like we're suffering for the Lord. But then how do we know that that's really the case and it's not just our ego or it's not just another impure impulse? Like we may say that, okay, we are doing this because it's the right thing and this is what Swami says. But how do we know that it's not just our ego saying that?
Crying for the Lord is different. Crying for the Lord, going through the pain, just like Radha. She wanted to have Krishna for herself. And when Krishna went away from, what's her name? Vrindavan, she was crying. All the gopikas were crying. They went through pain and suffering. Only it's because they wanted to have Krishna. But the pain and sorrow which we go through when we don't get our wishes satisfied, or something, some desire which is unsatisfied, we go through agony and sorrow. That's not it. That's not the correct way. This sorrow and agony will increase. Sairam.
Sairam, I think the spiritual yearning, the suffering or pain for the, or spiritual yearning to realize the Lord, or that is not actually needed. So that suffering really helps for spiritual progress. But I think just what Kalyani asked, I think that's we should be very carefully consider that. If I understood that, and that is relevant to what Sister Aruna said after my response earlier regarding the criticism. So what I say is, Swami said so many things. So just Swami said, or whatever it is, as Brother Aruna used to say, everyone say or do things because they think that is right. But how do we know that is, are we really 100% or 200% sure what we think is right or what we do is right? So unless, I don't know, we have to be very careful regarding those things. So to before criticize others. And so I don't know, that is a very, everyone has to decide for themselves, but we have to be very careful.
Okay, Sairam.
Sairam, brother, without these three, without pain, sorrow, and agony, can't we reach the supreme Lord, or the Atma? We should go through these pain, sorrow, agony, or is there any example, with happiness they reach the Paramatma or the Supreme Lord? I thought, even if we take the Nayanmar, our Hinduism or Saivism, maybe the first Nayanmar, the Samandar, I believe he always have been very happy, in the very childhood. That's why I don't know whether we have to go through all the time these pain, sorrow, agony. Maybe the Tirunavukkarasar, I believe he would have gone through this one to reach the Supreme Lord. Maybe the Manikavasar, he's in the little bit of jnanam, that part. Maybe one of our brothers, they have already mentioned that. Maybe each has to choose their own way, and I just thought about whether we have to really go through these three: pain, sorrow, agony to reach the Lord. That's my little thought. Thank you, Sairam.
Okay.
Brother Sairam, there is something I wanted to understand clearly here too. Here, to remove impulses, you go through the pain, sorrow, and agony. But to practice impulses, you shouldn't be having any pain, sorrow, agony. So this is two things. I'm just reading back to that paragraph here. The one paragraph, do not be slave to impulses. In that, the second paragraph clearly says, if you are not, if you are doing with the good impulses, it shouldn't give you worry, anxiety, pain. But to remove impulses also, we should go through the pain, sorrow, and agony to remove it. This is something I wanted to bring it up on this, because this is a two different way of Swami's touching on this. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much.
So Sairam, brother, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sairam, we are coming with the Kandamala, no? That we are coming with that good impulses and bad impulses. When we have burning that bad impulses, we have to go through agony and sorrow and everything. Because burning that time, we can pray to Swami and ask his support, or that his blessing, that we can pray, we can chanting his name and that Dhyana, and then we can do everything that go through that agony, and then we cannot find that pain and sorrow. Then the good impulse is always good, and with the good impulses we can burn the bad impulses also. That Swami says that, and according to that, each one has that different way of traveling to that the end, to that and to the goal. So we, according to our karma, that according to our vasanas, that we get suffering or they're getting good. And that Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also, that his life, he was until he reached that goal, that his aim is that to talk to God, Kali must come to his in front of him. So he was suffering at the time to get the goal. That he went to that for that burial ground, that there he meditated there. That always he was shouting and crying that today, yeah, my one day is finished without got her darshan. At end he didn't succeeded, and then he went to that in front of Kali's statue and take the sword in his hand, and he said, "I'm going to kill myself by the sword unless I can see that Kali's darshan right now." At that time, he get that sword and swing on his head, the throat. At that time, Kali was appeared. So his faith is there, that until his end, he was his one-pointedness there. That's the way that he's find the Kali's darshan. That's the way we can find our goal, I guess. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, brother.
So Sairam, brother.
Yes.
The pain and the pleasure is coming from your desire. If you don't have desire, there is no pain and pleasure, and you are bringing the past karma too. So if you do anything, there's a reflection, reaction, and the resound is there. That part we have to face that too. So that's what Swami says. If you do dhyana, I will help you, because that whatever when during the dhyana time, whenever you do the repeating the name, that has the power to kill the bad impulses or any impulse, good or bad. And when you surrender anything, whatever the karma yoga, then you are not going to get any good adding to the vasana. So this is my understanding. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, brother.
Sairam, brother, is it possible for you to clarify that
Okay, I will.
Sure, thank you.
I think it's 4:14. So if it's okay, maybe I will just have some concluding comments. I think it's a couple of points, which I think Sister Ananthi, you okay? I think at this point in time with the question you had asked, I think my understanding is as long as we have impure impulses, pain is unavoidable. So the thing is, you asked whether it's avoidable, So I think the faster we remove the impure impulses, the pain will not be there. I think that's what I understand from the Swami's statement. Yeah, if you have impure impulses, you are definitely going to encounter pain, sorrow, and agony, related to the world, not related to God. As far as related to God, that agony itself is sadhana. It's tapas. It's burning with the desire for the Lord. That agony is actually very pleasant also. Just like people who go to the gym, and the exercise and the body is aching, but they will come out and say, I feel very good about it. It is that kind of agony when it's a spiritual agony. So there is something rejuvenating, something making us a much more positive and a better person. There's immense amount of joy, even that agony is my understanding of that. So that it's still an agony, yearning for the Lord. I think when we experience, we will experience it well, I guess.
Thank you so much, Brother Aruno. I really like that, this agony, it will make me very happy. The gym example, when we do the exercise, we will be tired, but when we come out, we will feel really good about and happy. That's an excellent example. I like it. Thank you so much.
And I think then I will just, Sister Aruna's question. Sister Aruna, you asked, what's right, what is wrong. The thing is, as long as impure impulses are there, again and again, we are going to sometimes repeat what we are going to do. See, there's one thing, one Swami asked a question among students. Why do you write exams? Okay, boys were studying for exams and Swami asked, why do you write exams? So everyone had some different answer. They said, we will know how good we are. Somebody said, we will get a degree. And somebody, things like that. Somebody said, we will make our parents happy. All sorts of reasons were given. Swami said, no, 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 no. So then they left it to Swami to answer. And he said, you write an exam so that you don't have to write it again. You write an exam so you don't have to write it again. So sometimes in life also, pain and sorrow is also like that. You feel the pain once, so next time you don't experience the pain. For example, if a child touches something hot and it gets burnt, that experience was needed. But that experience was needed, why? Because the next time it will not burn itself. Of course, then there are people who can again and again touch and burn themselves. But it's just like people who take an exam again and again. But that is for each person to realize for themselves. Okay, and I think that is the goal of all experience in life, of pain, joy, sorrow, and so on. Once we experience it, hopefully next time we will not experience the same thing. If we pass the test, if not, we will again and again do the same thing. So I think each individual have to make those choices, understand what's happening, and fix the path they are taking, and do it right. And if everyone could do it overnight, the entire world will be full of saints and realized souls. So that's the reality. So let everyone take. Swami was very understanding of people. He is told everything. He said, I cannot force you. I can only tell you. I can repeatedly tell you. I can inspire you. I can scold you. But ultimately, it has to come from within. It has to come from within, from your own self, inner source. And for that, sadhana is the only thing. Because sometimes what happens is, all of us will feel, we are doing right. And then when somebody is doing something else, they will say, oh, they have been, they're tricking people, they are sneaky, all sorts of comments people can pass about other people. And, if a person who is doing the right thing, he will not be worried about that. If I make a decision, it's out in the open, you tell everyone, and then you just forget. Then you go back to thinking of the Lord. So, but the thing is, that's what everyone has to understand for themselves. It is not, we don't need to know what the other person is thinking, what the other person is doing, what the other choices. Ultimately, it's a relationship between us and the Lord. Whatever we do, whatever else the world may say, the world may praise, the world may blame, should not affect us. Hopefully, Swami will give us that wisdom by praying to him. to do whatever we think is right without worrying what others are saying about what we are doing. And because if we start thinking, then of course we'll feel pain, sorrow. Why did that person think of me this way? All that doesn't really matter. So hopefully Swami gives us that wisdom. We may make mistakes, it's okay, but it's between us and the Lord. And I think that's all matters. Hopefully we take the test and pass and don't have to repeat the test again. So with those words, we will close today's session. We can continue from where we left off next week. I will close it with Samastaloka Shanti Saya. Oh. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavan. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Sai Ram.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, brother.